Did you know that Russia and the USA are only about 55 miles apart? It's true. The Bering Strait, a narrow strip of water, separates these two giant countries. Imagine hopping on a super-fast plane in Alaska and landing in Russia in just 20 minutes. That's how close they are. This fascinating fact reminds us that our world is full of surprises and that geography plays a crucial role in shaping our understanding of it. Russia is massive, spanning 11 time zones. To put that into perspective, if it were noon in Moscow, it would still be yesterday in some parts of Russia. Now let's journey south and explore the incredible continent of North America. North America, home to mighty mountains, sprawling plains and bustling cities, is a continent of diverse landscapes. Geographers often divide it into three regions: North, Central, and South America. Each region has its own unique characteristics, shaped by its geography. Northern America, dominated by Canada, boasts vast forests and icy tundra. Central America, a narrow land bridge connecting North and South America, is known for its tropical rainforests and active volcanoes. South America, the continent's southern half, is home to the towering Andes Mountains, the mighty Amazon River, and the driest desert on Earth, the Atacama. Now let's delve deeper into the remarkable geographical features that make North America so fascinating. North America is home to some of the world's most impressive mountain ranges. The Rocky Mountains, stretching over 3,000 miles from Canada to New Mexico, are a sight to behold. These majestic peaks, formed millions of years ago, are a testament to the powerful forces that have shaped our planet. Further east, along the eastern side of North America, lie the ancient Appalachian Mountains. Much older than the Rockies, the Appalachians are known for their rounded peaks and forested slopes. These mountains have played a significant role in the history and development of the United States. From the icy glaciers of Alaska to the tropical rainforest of the Amazon, rivers crisscross the Americas, shaping the land and sustaining life. The Mississippi River, often called the Mighty Mississippi, is the longest river in North America. Its waters, originating in Minnesota, flow south for over 2,300 miles before emptying into the Gulf of Mexico. In South America, the Amazon River reigns supreme. It is the world's largest river by volume, carrying more water than the next 10 largest rivers combined. The Amazon is teeming with life, supporting an incredible diversity of plants and animals. Section 5. Dry as dust. Deserts of North and South America. While the Americas boast lush rainforests and fertile plains, they are also home to some of the driest places on Earth. The Great Basin Desert, covering much of Nevada and parts of surrounding states, is the largest desert in North America. Its arid landscape, shaped by wind and erosion, is dotted with salt flats, scrub vegetation, and rugged mountains. In South America, the Atacama Desert, nestled between the Andes Mountains and the Pacific Ocean, claims the title of the driest, non-polar desert in the world. Some parts of the Atacama have never recorded a single drop of rain. Section 6. Liquid giants, lakes of the Americas. The Americas are dotted with magnificent lakes, each with its own unique charm. The Great Lakes of North America, comprising Lake Superior, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario, form the largest group of freshwater lakes on Earth. These vast bodies of water are crucial for transportation, recreation, and providing drinking water to millions. High in the Andes Mountains, straddling the border of Peru and Bolivia, lies Lake Titicaca, the highest navigable lake in the world. Known for its stunning beauty and cultural significance, Lake Titicaca was once home to the ancient Inca civilization. Section 7. Gulf giants, embracing the coastline. Gulfs, large bodies of water that penetrate the coastline, play a vital role in shaping the geography and climate of the Americas. The Gulf of Mexico, bordered by the United States, Mexico, and Cuba, is a major source of oil and natural gas. It is also home to a diverse ecosystem supporting a variety of marine life, including dolphins, whales, and sea turtles. Further north, along the Pacific coast of North America, lies the Gulf of Alaska, known for its rugged coastline and abundant marine life. This gulf is home to whales, seals, sea otters, and a variety of fish species. Section 8. Island jewels, from Hawaii to the Galapagos. Scattered across the vast expanse of the Americas are islands, each with its own unique story to tell. Hawaii, an archipelago of volcanic islands in the central Pacific Ocean, is known for its stunning beauty, active volcanoes, and Polynesian culture. Off the coast of Ecuador in South America, the Galapagos Islands, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, are famous for their unique wildlife. These islands played a crucial role in Charles Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection. Gap 3S, Section 9, the Amazon Rainforest, Lungs of the Earth. Nestled in the heart of South America, the Amazon rainforest is a vast and vibrant ecosystem that spans across 9 countries, including Brazil, Peru, and Colombia. This dense and diverse jungle is home to an astonishing variety of flora and fauna, many of which are found nowhere else on the planet. Gap 2S. The Amazon is often referred to as the lungs of the Earth because it produces about 20% of the world's oxygen. Its mighty river, the Amazon River, winds its way through the forest, providing life-giving water to countless species and communities. Gap 2S. This incredible rainforest is not just a haven for wildlife. It also plays a crucial role in regulating the global climate. The Amazon's dense canopy absorbs massive amounts of carbon dioxide, helping to mitigate the effects of climate change. Gap 2S. However, the Amazon is under threat from deforestation, illegal logging, and climate change. Protecting this precious ecosystem is vital for the health of our planet. The Amazon rainforest is a reminder of the intricate and delicate balance of nature and our responsibility to preserve it for future generations. Gap 2S. As we marvel at the beauty and complexity of the Amazon, we are reminded of the interconnectedness of all life on Earth and the importance of safeguarding our natural world. Gap 3S, Section 10, the Majestic Andes, backbone of South America. Stretching over 7,000 kilometers from Venezuela to Chile, the Andes Mountains are the longest continental mountain range in the world. This majestic range forms the backbone of South America, creating a dramatic landscape of towering peaks, deep valleys, and high plateaus. Gap 2S. The Andes are home to some of the highest peaks outside of Asia, including Mount Aconcagua, which rises to an astonishing 6,959 meters. These towering mountains are not just a sight to behold, but also a vital source of life and culture for the people who live in their shadow. Gap 2S. The diverse ecosystems found within the Andes range from lush cloud forests to arid deserts, each supporting unique flora and fauna. The mountains also cradle ancient civilizations, with remnants of the Inca Empire still visible in places like Machu Picchu. Gap 2S. The Andes play a crucial role in regulating the climate and water supply for much of the continent. The range captures moisture from the Pacific Ocean, feeding rivers and lakes that sustain both people and wildlife. Gap 2S. However, this iconic mountain range faces threats from climate change, mining, and deforestation. Preserving the Andes is essential for maintaining the ecological and cultural heritage of South America. Gap 2S. As we admire the grandeur of the Andes, we are reminded of the resilience and beauty of nature and our duty to protect these natural wonders for future generations. Gap 3S, Section 11, Geography, the world's biggest puzzle. From the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains to the depths of the Amazon River, from the dry expanse of the Atacama Desert to the sparkling waters of the Great Lakes, the geography of the Americas is incredibly diverse and fascinating. Gap 2S, understanding geography helps us make sense of the world around us, from the climate we experience to the food we eat, the languages we speak, and the cultures we develop. Just like that short hop across the Bering Strait, geography reminds us that our world is interconnected, and its wonders never cease to amaze us. Gap 3S. Section 11, the Patagonian Wilderness, End of the World. Gap 2S. Stretching across the southern regions of Argentina and Chile, Patagonia is a land of breathtaking extremes. Gap 2S. From towering glaciers to vast steppe-like plains, this remote region is often referred to as the end of the world. Gap 2S. The Patagonian wilderness is home to some of the most pristine and untouched landscapes on Earth. Gap 2S. The region's dramatic beauty is defined by the Andes Mountains to the west and the Atlantic Ocean to the east, creating a unique and diverse ecosystem. Gap 2S. One of the most iconic features of Patagonia is the Perito Moreno Glacier, a colossal ice formation that spans over 250 square kilometers. Gap 2S. This glacier is one of the few in the world that is still growing, and its spectacular ice-carving events draw visitors from around the globe. Gap 2S. The region is also a sanctuary for wildlife, including guanacos, Andean condors, and the elusive puma. Gap 2S. The vast open spaces and rugged terrain provide a haven for these species, allowing them to thrive in their natural habitats. Gap 2S. However, Patagonia's remote beauty is not without its challenges. Gap 2S, climate change and human activities such as overgrazing and tourism are putting pressure on this fragile ecosystem. Gap 2S, efforts are being made to protect and preserve Patagonia's unique landscapes and wildlife for future generations. Gap 2S. As we explore the Patagonian wilderness, we are reminded of the awe-inspiring power of nature and the importance of safeguarding these wild places. Gap 3S, Section 12. Geography, the world's biggest puzzle. Gap 2S, from the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains to the depths of the Amazon River. Gap 2S, from the dry expanse of the Atacama Desert to the sparkling waters of the Great Lakes. Gap 2S, the geography of the Americas is incredibly diverse and fascinating. Gap 2S, understanding geography helps us make sense of the world around us, from the climate we experience to the food we eat, the languages we speak, and the cultures we develop. Gap 2S. Just like that short hop across the Bering Strait, geography reminds us that our world is interconnected and its wonders never cease to amaze us. A Gap 3S, Section 12, the Caribbean. Jewel of the tropics, Gap 2S. Nestled between North and South America, the Caribbean is a mesmerizing tapestry of azure waters, vibrant coral reefs, and lush islands. Gap 2S. This region, often referred to as the Jewel of the Tropics, is home to an astonishing array of biodiversity and cultures. Gap 2S, the Caribbean Sea, is teeming with marine life, from colorful fish and sea turtles to majestic whales and playful dolphins. Gap 2S. The coral reefs, such as the Belize Barrier Reef, are some of the most diverse and vital ecosystems on the planet, providing shelter and sustenance to countless species. Gap 2S. On land, the Caribbean islands boast a rich mosaic of rainforests, mangroves, and pristine beaches. Gap 2S. Each island has its unique charm, from the volcanic peaks of St. Lucia to the white sandy shores of the Bahamas. Gap 2S. The region's history is equally captivating, shaped by the influences of indigenous peoples, European colonizers, African slaves, and Asian immigrants. Gap 2S. This cultural melting pot is reflected in the vibrant music, dance, and cuisine of the Caribbean, where every island tells a different story. Gap 2S. However, the Caribbean's beauty is also its vulnerability. Gap 2S. The region faces significant threats from climate change, hurricanes, and rising sea levels, which endanger both its natural and cultural heritage. Gap 2S. Efforts are underway to protect and preserve the Caribbean's unique environments, ensuring that future generations can continue to experience its wonders. Gap 2S. As we immerse ourselves in the Caribbean's tropical paradise, we are reminded of the delicate balance between nature and humanity and the importance of preserving this jewel of the tropics. Gap 3S, Section 13. Geography, the world's biggest puzzle. Gap 2S. From the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains to the depths of the Amazon River. Gap 2S. From the dry expanse of the Atacama Desert to the sparkling waters of the Great Lakes. Gap 2S. The geography of the Americas is incredibly diverse and fascinating. Gap 2S. Understanding geography helps us make sense of the world around us, from the climate we experience to the food we eat, the languages we speak, and the cultures we develop. Gap 2S. Just like that short hop across the Bering Strait, geography reminds us that our world is interconnected, and its wonders never cease to amaze us. Gap 3S, Section 13, the ancient civilizations of the Americas. Gap 2S. Long before the arrival of European explorers, the Americas were home to advanced and sophisticated civilizations that shaped the course of history. Gap 2S. From the towering pyramids of the Maya in Central America to the intricate cities of the Inca in South America, these ancient cultures left an indelible mark on the continent. Gap 2S. In North America, the Mississippian culture built impressive mound complexes such as Cahokia, which served as political and ceremonial centers. Gap 2S. The Aztecs, with their grand capital Tenochtitlan, showcased architectural brilliance and complex societal structures. Gap 2S. Meanwhile, the Inca Empire, stretching along the Andes, demonstrated remarkable engineering skills with their terraced agriculture and extensive road networks. Gap 2S. The legacy of these civilizations is not only seen in their monumental architecture, but also in their contributions to agriculture, astronomy, and art. Gap 2S. The domestication of crops like maize, potatoes, and cacao transformed global diets and economies. Gap 2S. The astronomical knowledge of the Maya, with their intricate calendars, continues to intrigue scholars today. Gap 2S. The art and craftsmanship of these cultures, from intricate pottery to elaborate textiles, reflect a deep connection to their environment and spirituality. Gap 2S. Despite the impact of colonization, the descendants of these ancient civilizations continue to preserve and celebrate their heritage, keeping their traditions and knowledge alive. Gap 2S. As we explore the ancient civilizations of the Americas, we gain a deeper appreciation for the ingenuity and resilience of these early societies. Gap 2S. Their achievements remind us that the history of the Americas is rich and diverse, a testament to human creativity and endurance. Gap 3S. Section 14, Geography, the world's biggest puzzle. Gap 2S. From the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains to the depths of the Amazon River. Gap 2S. From the dry expanse of the Atacama Desert to the sparkling waters of the Great Lakes. Gap 2S. The geography of the Americas is incredibly diverse and fascinating. Gap 2S. Understanding geography helps us make sense of the world around us. From the climate we experience to the food we eat, the languages we speak, and the cultures we develop. Gap 2S. Just like that short hop across the Bering Strait, geography reminds us that our world is interconnected and its wonders never cease to amaze us. Gap 3S. Section 14, the rich tapestry of flora and fauna. Gap 2S, the Americas boast an extraordinary array of plant and animal life, each ecosystem teeming with unique species. Gap 2S, from the dense jungles of the Amazon, home to countless undiscovered species. Gap 2S, to the arid deserts where life adapts in remarkable ways. Gap 2S, the biodiversity here is unparalleled. Gap 2S, in the north, the vast boreal forests provide a haven for wolves, bears, and countless bird species. Gap 2S, the expansive prairies once roamed by millions of bison, Gap 2AS, are now a testament to conservation efforts that aim to restore these majestic landscapes. Gap 2S. Moving south, the cloud forests of Central America are a sanctuary for vibrant birds like the resplendent quetzal, Gap 2S, and countless orchids. Gap 2S, the Galapagos Islands, with their unique species, such as the giant tortoises and marine iguanas, Gap 2S, inspired Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. Gap 2S. The Amazon rainforest, often referred to as the lungs of the earth, Gap 2S, is not only a biodiversity hotspot but also a crucial player in regulating the planet's climate. Gap 2S. The Andes, stretching along the western coast of South America, Gap 2S, support diverse ecosystems from high-altitude grasslands to temperate rainforests, Gap 2S. The coastal regions, with their mangroves and coral reefs, also Gap 2S, are nurseries for marine life and protect shorelines from erosion, Gap 2S. The flora and fauna of the Americas are not just a testament to the continent's natural wealth, Gap 2S, but also a reminder of our responsibility to protect these treasures. Gap 2S. Conservation efforts, from national parks to international agreements, Gap 2S, strive to preserve this rich biodiversity for future generations, Gap 2S. As we marvel at the rich tapestry of flora and fauna, Gap 2S, we are reminded of the delicate balance of nature and our role in sustaining it. Gap 2S, the Americas, with their stunning variety of life, inspire awe and a deep appreciation for the natural world. Gap 3S, Section 15, Geography, the world's biggest puzzle, Gap 2S. From the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains, Gap 2S, to the depths of the Amazon River, Gap 2S, from the dry expanse of the Atacama Desert, Gap 2S, to the sparkling waters of the Great Lakes, Gap 2S, the geography of the Americas is incredibly diverse and fascinating. Gap 2S, understanding geography helps us make sense of the world around us, Gap 2S. From the climate we experience to the food we eat, Gap 2S, the languages we speak and the cultures we develop, Gap 2S, just like that short hop across the Bering Strait, Gap 2S geography reminds us that our world is interconnected, Gap 2S, and its wonders never cease to amaze us. Gap 3S, Section 15, The Vibrant Cultures of the Americas. Gap 2S. The Americas are a mosaic of cultures, each with its own unique traditions, languages, and histories. Gap 2S. From the Inuit communities in the Arctic who have mastered the art of survival in extreme conditions, Gap 2S, to the rich tapestry of Native American tribes across North America, preserving their heritage through stories, art, and ceremonies. Gap 2S. In Latin America, the vibrant cultures of Mexico and Central America are alive with the rhythms of mariachi, salsa, and traditional dances. Gap 2S. The influence of ancient civilizations like the Aztecs and Mayans is still evident in their architecture, art, and festivals. Gap 2S. Moving south, the Andean cultures of Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador proudly maintain their Quechua and Aymara traditions. Gap 2S, weaving intricate textiles and celebrating ancient rituals. Gap 2. In Brazil, the fusion of African, indigenous, and Portuguese cultures has given birth to unique music and dance forms like samba and capoeira. Gap 2S. The Caribbean islands, each with their own distinct identity, Gap 2S, are a melting pot of African, Indian, European, and indigenous influences, Gap 2S, reflected in their music, cuisine, and festivals like Carnival, Gap 2S. In the southernmost regions, the gauchos of Argentina and Uruguay embody the spirit of the open plains, Gap 2S, with their traditions of horsemanship and folk music. Gap 2S. The Americas are also home to vibrant immigrant communities from Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. Gap 2S, adding even more layers to the cultural fabric. Gap 2S. This rich cultural diversity is not only a source of pride, but also a reminder of the interconnectedness of humanity. Gap 2S. As we celebrate the vibrant cultures of the Americas, Gap 2S, we are reminded of the beauty of our shared human experience and the importance of preserving these cultural treasures for future generations. Gap 3S, Section 16, Geography, the world's biggest puzzle. Gap 2S, from the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains, Gap 2S, to the depths of the Amazon River, Gap 2S, from the dry expanse of the Atacama Desert, Gap 2S, to the sparkling waters of the Great Lakes, Gap 2S. The geography of the Americas is incredibly diverse and fascinating. Gap 2S. Understanding geography helps us make sense of the world around us. Gap 2S, from the climate we experience to the food we eat. Gap 2S, the languages we speak and the cultures we develop. Gap 2S, just like that short hop across the Bering Strait. Gap 2S, geography reminds us that our world is interconnected. Gap 2S, and its wonders never cease to amaze us. Gap 3S, Section 16, The Culinary Delights of the Americas. Gap 2S. The Americas are a culinary paradise, offering a diverse range of flavors and dishes that reflect the rich cultural heritage of the continent. Gap 2S. In North America, the hearty comfort foods of the United States and Canada. Gap 2S, from juicy burgers and poutine. Gap 2S to maple syrup-drenched pancakes. Gap 2S satisfy the cravings of many. Gap 2S. The southern states bring us the soulful tastes of BBQ and Creole cuisine. Gap 2S, while the West Coast is known for its fresh seafood and innovative food trends. Gap 2S, Mexico enchants with its spicy and flavorful dishes. Gap 2S, like tacos. Gap 2S, enchiladas. Gap 2S, and the rich, complex mole sauce. Gap 2S, moving further south, Central America's culinary landscape is a vibrant mix of indigenous, African, and Spanish influences. Gap 2S. In Peru, the world-renowned ceviche, Gap 2S, and the hearty lomo saltado are must-tries, Gap 2S, while Argentina's famous asados showcase the country's love for grilled meats. Gap 2S, Brazil tantalizes with its feijoada, a hearty black bean stew, Gap 2S, and the iconic pão de queijo, Gap 2S, a cheesy bread that is simply irresistible. Gap 2S. The Caribbean islands offer a flavorful fusion of African, Indian, European, and indigenous cuisines, Gap 2S, with dishes like jerk chicken, Gap 2S roti, Gap 2S, and the refreshing rum punch. Gap 2S, even the southernmost regions bring their own culinary treasures, Gap 2S, such as the lamb dishes of Patagonia, Gap 2S, and the seafood-rich cuisine of Chile, Gap 2S. The Americas' culinary diversity not only delights the palate, but also tells the story of its people and their histories, Gap 2S. As we savor the culinary delights of the Americas, Gap 2S, we celebrate the creativity and resilience of its cultures, Gap 2S, and the shared joy that food brings to our lives. Gap 3S, Section 17, the musical heritage of the Americas. Gap 2S, the Americas are a symphony of sounds, a rich tapestry woven from diverse musical traditions that span centuries and cultures. Gap 2S, in North America, the soulful strains of blues and jazz. Gap 2S, echo the struggles and triumphs of African-American history. Gap 2S, while the energetic beats of rock and hip-hop reflect the dynamic spirit of modern urban life. Gap 2S, country music with its heartfelt storytelling. Gap 2S, captures the essence of rural life and the open road. Gap 2S, in Mexico, the lively rhythms of mariachi and the passionate melodies of ranchera. Gap 2S, celebrate love, life and tradition. Gap 2S, Central America and the Caribbean resonate with the vibrant sounds of reggae, salsa and merengue. Gap 2S, music that moves both the body and the soul. Gap 2S, South America offers a diverse musical landscape. Gap 2S, from the sophisticated tangos of Argentina, Gap 2S, to the infectious samba and bossa nova beats of Brazil, Gap 2S. Andean music with its haunting panpipes and charangos, Gap 2S, evokes the majestic landscapes and ancient cultures of the highlands. Gap 2S, the Americas' musical heritage, is a testament to the creativity and resilience of its people. Gap 2S, a celebration of identity and community. Gap 2S, as we listen to the musical heritage of the Americas. Gap 2S, we are reminded of the power of music to transcend borders. Gap 2S, to tell stories. Gap 2S, and to bring us together in a shared human experience. Gap 3S, Section 18, the technological innovations of the Americas. Gap 2S, the Americas have been a hotbed of technological advancements. Gap 2S, driving progress and transforming the way we live, work and connect. Gap 2S, in North America, Silicon Valley stands as a beacon of innovation. Gap 2S, where tech giants like Apple, Google and Facebook have revolutionized the digital world. Gap 2S, the advent of the internet, personal computing and smartphones. Gap 2S, has made the world more interconnected than ever before. Gap 2S, in South America, countries like Brazil and Argentina are making strides in renewable energy. Gap 2S, harnessing the power of wind and solar to build a sustainable future. Gap 2S, the advances in biotechnology and healthcare. Gap 2S, from groundbreaking medical research to cutting-edge treatments. Gap 2S, have improved the quality of life and extended lifespans. Gap 2S, innovations in agriculture, such as genetically modified crops and precision farming. Gap 2S, have boosted food production and ensured food security for millions. Gap 2S, the rise of e-commerce and digital payment systems. Gap 2S, has transformed the retail landscape, making shopping more convenient and accessible. Gap 2S, as we look to the future, the Americas continue to lead in space exploration. Gap 2S, with missions to Mars and beyond. Gap 2S, pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Gap 2S, the technological innovations of the Americas. Gap 2S, are a testament to human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of progress. Gap 2S, they remind us that with curiosity, creativity and collaboration, Gap 2S, we can shape a better world for generations to come. Gap 3S, Section 19, the artistic legacy of the Americas. Gap 2S, the Americas boast a rich and diverse artistic heritage. Gap 2S, that spans centuries and encompasses a myriad of styles and mediums. Gap 2S, from the ancient rock art of the Anasazi in North America. Gap 2S, to the vibrant murals of the Mexican artist Diego Rivera. Gap 2S, the visual arts have always been a powerful means of expression. Gap 2S, in South America, the intricate goldwork of the Inca civilization. Gap 2S, and the contemporary works of artists like Fernando Botero. Gap 2S, showcase the region's creative prowess. Gap 2S, the Americas have also made significant contributions to literature. Gap 2S, with iconic writers such as Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Toni Morrison. Gap 2S, whose stories have touched hearts and minds across the globe. Gap 2S, the film industry, particularly Hollywood in the United States. Gap 2S, has become a global powerhouse. Gap 2S, producing countless classics that have defined generations. Gap 2S, meanwhile, the vibrant street art scenes in cities like Sao Paulo and New York. Gap 2S, offer a canvas for social commentary and creative expression. Gap 2S, the performing arts, from Broadway musicals to traditional indigenous dances. Gap 2S, continue to captivate audiences with their emotional depth and cultural significance. Gap 2S, The artistic legacy of the Americas is a testament to the diverse cultures and histories that shape this vast continent. Gap 2S, it reminds us that through art, Gap 2S, we can find common ground, celebrate our differences, and inspire future generations. Gap 2S. As we explore the artistic treasures of the Americas, Gap 2S, we are reminded of the beauty and resilience of the human spirit. Section 9. Geography, the world's biggest puzzle. From the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains to the depths of the Amazon River, from the dry expanse of the Atacama Desert to the sparkling waters of the Great Lakes, the geography of the Americas is incredibly diverse and fascinating. Understanding geography helps us make sense of the world around us, from the climate we experience to the food we eat, the languages we speak and the cultures we develop. Just like that short hop across the Bering Strait, geography reminds us that our world is interconnected and its wonders never cease to amaze us.